Hello guys, I'm Mariano the Trading Parrot. Today we are seeing a pretty decent correction, not just on Bitcoin, but in general markets. And of course, the altcoins are reflecting the typical behavior as a reaction to this. We can see double digits across the board on the weekly and on the day and even on the hour at the moment. This morning in the video assessing the damage, a half an hour offering not just a full summary of what's going on with the general markets, the VIX, the dollar index, gold and other indexes, but also the levels that we need to respect. I can see already that some levels are being broken. We haven't closed the daily candle, but be aware that the context of the video that you are about to watch is under the assumption that the daily close tonight is more or less where we are, or even worse. If that assumption is correct by the end of today, I'm sure that we can use all the technical analysis that we're going to do in the video to cherry pick some gems across the top market cap of the market in terms of altcoins and start planning how to re-enter, assuming that you have cash to re-enter. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to Coin Bureau Trading. I'm committed to publishing 3 videos a week in the channel together with Dan and Aaron. There are videos every day coming out, including technical analysis on altcoins the whole week and tutorials and alpha applying to altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. But if you want to stay on top of the price action on Bitcoin and altcoins with my analysis, I recommend that you subscribe my channel, The Trading Parrot. We just overpassed 40,000 subscribers. I'm very pleased to see that, and we continue to grow as a channel. Before we look into the altcoins, let's have a little bit of health check and let's answer the question that everybody is asking across social networks, which is, alright, so no altcoin season? Definitely not. And I think we are doing pretty much what we've been saying the whole week. I don't remember if I mentioned that in this video, but I'm pretty sure that the last time I covered the altcoin season topics, I mentioned that I was expecting the Bitcoin dominance to go somewhere in between 58 to 59, and at that point is where we want to see a rejection of this uptrend of the Bitcoin dominance. We want to start seeing this coming back down and ideally putting a low relative to the 54%. That means if this hypothesis is true, we're getting very close to those levels for a re-entry and for taking advantage of another push down of the Bitcoin dominance. Watch my video in the morning because I cover the NDX and the S&P at the moment having a pretty decent weekly candle correction. And not just that, but the volatility index is pushing higher above the highest close in the past months on the weekly time frame, calling for a potential shake across general markets. So this is a warning signal. We are still going to look for those levels to re-enter, and we're going to cover different levels. For example, levels assuming that there is not a crash in the market in the S&P, in the Nasdaq, and things go back to normal. That will be an entry a lot sooner, of course, pretty much a little bit lower than where we are on each of the coins we are going to review. But if there was some sort of crash in the market, I will expect the altcoins to go even lower. And in that case, the Bitcoin dominance could push beyond the resistance and even re-enter the ascending wedge, which is something that we qualify as very low likely. But if you get a crash in the general markets, a decent one, closer to a recession kind of crash or black swan event kind of crash, then that's the exception to the rule. And in that case, sure, we need to look for lower entries. At the moment, the USDT dominance is right there at resistance on the weekly, preparing for a potential breakout to the upside, and that's how critical is the point where we are. If we saw a breakout of the USDT dominance above this trend line on the RSI weekly, guys, that means that could be triggering the USDT dominance re-entering above this historical support that now it became resistance, and we were expecting to fall around this area throughout the altcoin season. But end of altcoin season in terms of USDT dominance should look something like this, you know, a push back above the trend line very aggressively back to levels of 5%, 6% in USDT dominance. That should hurt. As you can see in this altcoin season, the best one in history, in 2 weeks, the dominance went from 2% to 5%. And that is a huge crash of 66% on total free. So obviously what we want to see is that the USDT dominance remains here for now. It's still there. For now we are against resistance. So I'm not ringing the red alarm, but this is a warning. It's a yellow alarm if you want. And yet total free is just having a mild correction relative to all this move up of 93%. Now coming back down 14% is like a baby dump really for total free. It is, but USDT dominance, it's saying, hey, I'm about to break out, pay attention. And dominance is also saying, hey, I'm about to re-enter the wedge, take me seriously. When it comes to others, which are all the altcoins below the top 10 market cap, you can see that is reaching support on the daily time frame on this channel to the upside. If you watch the video of the return of the altcoins, you should know what we are talking about in terms of this channel in here and what sort of expectations do we have for the actual end of the altcoins opportunity in the bull market. If you don't want to watch the video, basically going in this direction is the executive summary, but there's a lot more to it and I encourage you to watch it. On the daily, we can see in here the RSIs of all the altcoins are entering into the weak area. The average is 39, so it's slightly entering into the week. On the 4-hour, pretty much all of them are oversold at 27. So basically, that's why this video is so important, because if we are not entering into recession or black swan kind of crash in the general markets, this should be remembered as a huge opportunity to re-enter. If we do enter, this will be a time to say, why did I buy a falling knife? So these are the coins that I'm going to review today. As I say, we're going to look at the top 10 market cap. That is because pretty much most of the people in the video in the morning, when I ask, what do you guys want me to do in the evening? The answer was do altcoins, do top 10 altcoins. That is fine. So let's get started with Ethereum, and looking at the weekly, we are kind of doing what I've been saying in the past days that I don't want to see. We know that we have had a double top of 4K, and this was our third opportunity to finally overcome that resistance, and we say to have hope that Ethereum in the short term is going to continue and break the all-time highs. What we need for it to happen as soon as possible is to close the weekly above 3,700, making it look like the perfect retest of the breakout. We are on Thursday, so we have 3 more days in the week to recover from where we are. So to make it very easy, a close of this weekly candle anywhere from here to infinite, this area is extremely bullish for continuation, for the retest. A close above 3.5k is okay. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Why? Because we are re-entering the breakout area, but we are sticking right below that resistance for another attempt. Whenever you come back below the range, there are ways to do it in a disastrous way, and there are ways to do it in an elegant way. And the elegant way is to stick around here. You can even wick below and go way beyond to 3.2 if you want, but if you still close the weekly above 3.5k, that is considered buying pressure. That is considered that the bulls are still actively working together to eventually put that new all-time high. Between 3k and 3.5k, it is bearish, but it's not the end of the world. That just means that we are gonna have to wait a lot longer to get the all-time high. It will become painful and scary at times. I think beyond 3k, a close weekly candle there is horrible. Let's put an H here. It's horrible. And below this support is the end, okay? That there's no way back from there, I think, in this cycle, or we are gonna take a full year to put that new all-time high after that, because that breaks everything. We will have to fully reassess the whole situation after that. If it played out, I think it's very low likely, and it can only be achieved with a black swan event at this point in time, a massive crash in the general markets. I think at the moment this is an overreaction, but hey, every single big crash starts with people thinking it's an overreaction, and that's why I'm keeping an eye while I'm sleeping open, looking at what's going on with the VIX and with the dollar index, that it doesn't seem to want to stop at the moment with its rally above $108. Let's look at XRP, that's the next coin, and on the weekly it's the one that looks the most bullish of all of them. Disclaimer, I sold at $2.8 and I'm not planning to rebuy it, so I'm gonna do the TA and try to be as unbiased as possible, but be aware that I don't like it and I don't want it. So we had this breakout in here thanks to the confirmation that Gary Gensler is gone, and we can see that so far we are holding that support at $2. That has been my line in the sand for stating, have we moved on from the Gary Gensler area, or are we still trading a coin that gets dumped 70% every time that it does something meaningful? And so far this is good for XRP army, because even though across the board we are seeing a sell off, XRP is holding pretty decently at 2.2. If Gary Gensler was still out there, or if he came back, I'm sure that XRP will be probably breaking down below the support in here at 0. something cents. Let's look at the lower time frame, and you can see that we had a breakout on the lower time frame, and now it seems to be doing some sort of retest. The most immediate support is at $2.2, but $2 is very significant also because it's psychological level. I don't care about 2.2, I just care that we defend $2. And also this formation in here is a little bit bearish because it's kind of an M pattern. You can see in there, the $2.2 happens to be the neck. So even though I care what happens at $2, a close below 2.2 is a breakdown from that bearish formation. The target of this pattern is $1.5, $1.55 roughly. So if XRP decided to join the party of red that everybody else is having, then I will guess it could break the $2 and get there. We will have to see. Noticing here that it had a breakdown already from 2.2, but the closing candle was back above 2.2. So careful with taking a trade intra-candle on the daily. Look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour has candle closes there, so you cannot place the neck at the same point. So if you want to trade the 4 hour, you're probably gonna need the neck to be $2 instead, and then wait for a 4 hour candle close below 2 hours. Of course, it all depends on what time frame you're trading. The daily is right there at support at 53, which is probably $2.2 more or less, give or take. So it is being tested as we speak. Let's go to BNB. On the weekly, BNB had a fake out on this breakout in here that started from the 2nd of December thanks to this green candle, and there's been 2 weeks undoing all the breakout and now coming back to the yellow line. Just for context, Bitcoin did the same, but the outcome of Bitcoin was that we broke down that. So if BNB was to do the same as Bitcoin, but after, it could break below the 53 support on the weekly, which by now is located around the same area where we have the volume weighted moving average, which is $626. That will be the support, and the context is that Bitcoin couldn't hold that support, so there is a thesis there that potentially BNB might do the same, but I guess it will also depend on Bitcoin. If it recovers before the candle close, then expect all these levels and all this downside potential to suddenly vanish, and everybody's looking again at the upside potential. And that's why Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin has the last word across the board on the direction of the price of most of the coins, most of the days. So levels of support and resistance on BNB that are relevant. We have the highest close, 794 there. We are breaking below this high from June, and we seem to be going on our way to the resistance at 613. That has been resistance from March until we broke out in November. Of course, in June we did this, but then we came back down and we sold off 40% after that. Remember that I'm giving you levels that are next in the price, and I'm also giving you levels that are a bit more exaggerated. So if within the week Bitcoin recovers, forget about $500. You're not gonna get that lucky to get to $500 if Bitcoin breaks above 108K. That's unrealistic. All this TA is in the context, one, that we are currently seeing a sell in the general markets, and there will be some levels that are respected if markets recover or go sideways. those are gonna be pretty great entries. If there's a black swan event, then we have to look into the other levels. Solana is breaking below local support on the weekly. We talked about this support yesterday, I think, in a video where we were holding the support, but now we have lost it. It would have been great to defend the $200, but right now we are on our way to $185. If that doesn't hold, we get the next level, which is 158, but similarly to the analysis of Bitcoin, going there completely vanishes all the breakout that we just had. And considering that Solana has already been underperforming against Ethereum and others, re-entering into this area could potentially cause a lot of more panic. Retesting the top of the symmetrical triangle and holding there and then recovering above 190 could be seen as a continuation, but re-entering in here is really not great. Let's go to Dogecoin, which is actually doing much better at this point in time in the market, and during the sell-off relative to Solana, you can see that it's still above the local support, holding precisely at the volume weighted moving average. Every single thing goes back into the mean, and Doge went back into the mean, and so far is holding it. Solana hasn't reached the 183 yet, but we already say that most likely that is attracting the price at the moment. You can see that Doge sometimes goes into the volume weighted moving average on the weekly and then has another leg up. In this case, we did that around March, and that was a correction of 40%. Right now, we are doing a correction of 37%, repeating kind of the same thing of coming back, testing this. So hopefully this time it will rebound like it did in the past performance. If it doesn't hold the volume moving average or the 28 cents, then we get another support at 22 cents, I mean. Let's see how far we got in this rally. I'm quite impressed with the performance of Doge. It went beyond the golden pocket and even beyond the 2 extension. So it was a pretty decent rally. And for Solana, we didn't even make it to 1. So less than half the rally that Doge had relative to the bull flag that we built from the bear market into March. Quite disappointing this second half that Solana has had. Let's get quick with the final 4 coins on ADA. If we do the same analysis, you can see that we got rejected by the golden pocket. That makes a lot more sense. So this is a good rally. That's a target that is very commonly reached. It's more than conservative. It's actually pretty good. What I'm watching on ADA is the daily time frame that is building this sort of head and shoulders. On the daily, we can place it like this. So if it's closing below 93 cents, then we will have broken down on the daily. If we do it on the 4 hour, then we have to move the neck lower to 90 cents. And at the moment on the 4 hour, we are below, we have the lowest level, but there's still 1 more hour to confirm the breakdown. On the 4 hour, that target to the downside is 48 cents. And on the daily, the target, I will expect it to be a little bit less. The target is 55 cents, but it depends on where we close the daily candle, because that is going to remove some of the profits, because we need to wait for candle close confirmation. Levels to look up for 78 cents and 53 cents. Those are levels that are coming from the weekly time frame, which I'm keeping an eye for. TRX, I sold it publicly for 40 cents, so I'm pretty happy now that the coin is down 37%. I'm not planning to rebuy it. It went all the way to almost 45 cents, which is incredible. I never thought I was gonna see this coin this high, to be fully honest. Let's see how far we got from this rally into February 2022. We went beyond 3, almost 4. So that is incredibly impressive. And we are in price exploration, so we cannot use support and resistance. On the daily, we have support at 21 cents, and we've been holding daily closes above 26 cents. But we broke down yesterday and we tested as resistance today. So I wonder if we really can get to 21 cents now. On the weekly time frame, we are still far from the local support, which is actually the global support. Indeed, that is located at 55. Let's see it in the price where that is. It's not that far off from the volume weighted moving average at 21 cents and the support line. So we got 3 levels in confluence there. I guess 21 cents. If we get that lucky and we find that price and there is not a black swan event, that is a great price for a re-entry after having sold at 40. If I buy at 20 and we carry on, that will be amazing. But this cycle, I'm gonna make my bets on other coins. Just letting you know, so if you're bullish on Tron and you have a narrative or something, good for you. Let's go with AVAX. AVAX has done pretty well. You can see that after the breakout, as opposed to many of the other coins looking at the RSI, Ethereum looks good on the RSI. You can see XRP, if we do the breakout as well, we are far from the support. This is the furthest away we are from the support. So definitely on the weekly, the best performing RSI at the moment. BNB is kind of a disaster because it broke out late and it was a fake out. We are already below that level, still not touching that support, but the breakout itself is destroyed. Whereas with XRP, we had the breakout, a bunch of retests, explosive move to 92 and far away from the support. So sure, you can say there's a lot of downside in here and I cannot say no to that, but the strength relative to the other coins is something that we have to be fair and give it to XRP. On Sol, you can see the breakout play out. It went high to 71. It got bullish, above 70 is bullish, but it lost the support. Doge is getting close to test that support. ADA broke out, but is probably on the top 3 bullish moves, better than Solana and than BNB. TRX broke out as well and is far from the support. AVAX is looking good as well. And we are doing this exercise to understand resilience under these stress conditions, which ones are being punished the most. So let's look at support and resistance for AVAX. We already say that on the RSI is looking decently good still, given the conditions. We also can say very quickly that in terms of social mentions at the moment, it's doing a spike, and that is the opposite that you may be thinking. This means that no one at the moment is talking about AVAX relative to how much they talk from 2020. And in the price action, those areas are marked with an L, areas where people go very quiet on AVAX. So I will pay attention with what's going on with AVAX. You want to be buying things that no one is giving a damn. At that point, usually you are not that far off from a bottom. Sometimes it is precisely the bottom, sometimes it's just a few weeks away. The volume weighted moving average is at around $36. The support is at $39 because we couldn't break it in April and May, neither in Jan. It was support as well. If broken, then we get the 32. Let's go with Link, which is right now testing the high of March. It managed to get to the 1272, and I suspect that is looking good when it comes to the breakout in here. And I have some lines that I left from a long time ago, expecting this to be a channel to the upside, and it was to the upside, but it went far off up. I was never expecting to reach 80 in such a short time. When we broke out, I was just expecting it to go this way. But you know what happened a couple of weeks ago? All the old coins, I'm talking about coins from previous cycles, 1 or 2 cycles back, started pumping like crazy. And here is the pump of Link. It went straight into the PNR calculated with statistics, and we are far off away from the resistance, from the support at 48. So in my opinion, we are holding pretty decently there. So if you want to enter into Link and you expect this not to be a black swan event and a crash in the market, then I think this is a great area to buy along with $18, $19. Ideally, we don't want to go into this area where we were in August and in summer, around the $10-ish, neither into the bear market levels. You can see after March, we sold off 64%. If we were to repeat that, that will take us to $11. So although this has been very impressive, you can see that Link also has impressive sells. So hopefully we're going to hold that $22 and behave like XRP is doing. Guys, if you want to trade altcoins, I have 4 exchanges. And the first 2 that you should be paying attention if you want to trade with the best exchanges are Bybit and OKX. Both of them offer a wide range of altcoins, not just on spot, but leverage perpetual contracts with different levels of leverage to trade. And by using the links in the description, you get the best bonuses in the industry. If you want to stay away from needing KYC and not have to pay for a VPN connection to use them, I will say consider bluffing first. There's a huge discount in the fees and up to 100K in bonuses based on trading volume. but I have heard that some people rarely get issues and they still need a VPN connection, probably less than 1% of the locations. If that's the case for you, then just give it a try first before depositing, and if it's all looking good, then you can use it. If not, you can go for 2bit, that also has an incredible bonus and discounts on the fees. It's been built by the same people that built Bybit. It looks very similar, and there's also a tutorial in this channel that you can watch on how to use it. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a like and a comment down below. That really helps me. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.